It's time for Carl's first oil change. And though I've done little parts of oil changes throughout my life helping my dad, I've never actually done it all by myself. And even though we've rebuilt this engine, we've never really changed the oil. So let's get to it. So today is our very first oil change on Carl, and we're actually doing it a little special today because we are going to our friend Ross's house. He has a lift, he works on cars. He was here for the very first startup of Carl. And he has a lift in his garage that he's going to let us put Carl on to do the oil change, which is going to be really cool. But before we can go there, we have to load up. Ready?
Yep. Perfect.
Stop right there. Put it in neutral. Cut it off.
Ross is so generous with his time and help and the letting us use the equipment that we don't happen to have the room for here in our garage. Also, I got to play with his pup Mazer, which was the whole reason I went. That's not true. I went for Carl, but Mazer, cute little puppy. Okay, anyway, Ross had not seen Carl since he helped us actually start the engine. So he hadn't even seen the EFI install or any of that.
Oh, that looks so good.
I got it for Christmas. I'm very proud of myself for having it.
Smart. Show me around. So did you upgrade the distributor?
Yes, so this is the
Hyperspark
distributor. So it sets the timing.
Right, so it doesn't have the vacuum advance or anything?
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy.
You just got to get it close enough to start and
Yes.
it does. So where's the computer?
It's all in the body of the EFI.
Sniper.
No way!
Yeah,
So, yeah,
it's
it's all-
awesome. And then there's a little computer.
There's a readout
there's a
inside.
screen.
So this is all of the...
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
all built in.
What?
Isn't that cool? Once we were done admiring our EFI, it was time to get the oil changed. But first, I got to learn how to use a lift.
When you're lifting a car up, is you want the steering wheel just in front of where the lift is. You got your flashlight with you?
Yeah.
Good.
Always.
This right here, this is your pinch weld. All right, this is where the body comes together. So this pinch weld is kind of like a frame. It's one of the strongest points of the whole car because it's 3 or 4 pieces of sheet metal come together and then welded together. So what we'll do is we'll set this up basically right into where a couple of the welds are. So it's a nice, good, strong, where there's a nice, good, thick metal right there. What I normally do is take my hand, go straight down, and see where my knuckles are in the middle. Are my knuckles close to the middle of this pad? And that's what you're looking for. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Why don't you do the back one? And what you're trying to do is when you're lining this up, you also want to look across to the other side to make sure you're right about in the same line, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, because luckily, most of the pinch weld, it's all going to be pretty flat. So I'm just going to double check. We're good there.
Good job, El.
And then, press that black button. It's just, and hold it. All right, stop right there. So now, good in the center? Yep. You actually did better on that one than I did. Center, cool. So now we know center points are good. So now what I want you to do is I want you to hold it until the wheels come off the ground about 4 inches. Cool. Now we do the shake test. So, you come back and you give her a little wiggle. So now what we are going to do is I'm going to pull the this down because that's so much taller than the hood or the roof line. You hit the ceiling first. So go ahead and up you go with it.
Higher, I won't be able to reach.
You'll be fine. Trust me. Your arms will go up way more than you think. And the engine, you gotta remember the engine oil pan is almost at the your bottom of your oil pan is here.
Oh gosh.
So but where the bottom of this is where the actual where you're gonna need to reach. So keep on going.
There?
Go one more. Good.
It was really cool to lift up the car, even though it was a little stressful because having something that I've worked a year making and then just floating it up on little like welds is a little stressful, and I did not like it, but it was really cool to do. But after me and Ross were done gazing at the underside of Carl, because it was really cool to see it all not laying down and like squished under it, it was great. We went to doing the actual thing we had gone there to do and started to change the oil.
I use this just because there's less chance of, nightmares happening. So. That's some clean looking motor oil. So what you're always looking for is you're looking for, do you see any metal shakes in it? Do you see any metal flakes? Do you see any grit? Do you see any discoloration? Do you see greens, mud, like milkshake looking stuff?
I was just waiting
because it will sit there and drip like that for probably the next 3 minutes.
I mean, I thought so. I just didn't want you to be like,
no.
Well, you have to keep waiting until
you don't have to wait till it's empty.
Nice.
I mean, you would think that. I'm gonna make so
Have
many
you used
mistakes.
this
yet?
Nope.
Okay, so what? You're gonna like.
There you go. There you go.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And oh my gosh.
Good job.
And and then there you go. Ooh,
and then it's gonna start leaking.
Whoever put that on, you gotta have a talk to.
It may have been Dad.
I think it was you.
I think it was me.
Yep,
there you go.
Just like that. And it's gonna run down to the edge of it, so keep twisting.
Make it on you, yeah.
And when you take it off, you're gonna want to keep the bottom facing straight up for as long as you can. Yep, and then just fold it down right into that and let it sit. And look at all that glorious goop come out.
Nice.
And just set it in there, let it sit, let it drain.
Since we started the engine, we have been running it with Lucas's high zinc break-in oil. What I learned about it was that the zinc is in there to actually help our camshaft and lifters because of all the friction that is created. Oil alone is not able to help lube up the whole system. So you have to add extra zinc. Because we were changing the oil, we had to figure out what exact oil we wanted to put in our car. So I decided to go with another high zinc. Our machine shop that actually redid our engine told us to go with the 10W40, and because zinc is so important and we really need it for our car, I went with another Lucas oil that was high zinc and meant for older cars.
Take your finger and rub all the way around the gasket. And some people say it doesn't really matter. I'm a fan of why not. You're going to put this back on.
Okay.
Cool. So now reach up there. Wipe her off. Good. So
kind of slips, huh? That's it. Nice.
That's plenty.
Good job, El.
So I'm gonna
Nice.
double check behind you.
Once we had closed everything up, there was one more thing that I wanted to do. We had noticed some oil seeping from the fuel pump block-off plate. This is because I don't think we used enough sealant when we actually put it on the first time. So, while the car was up in the air, we decided to fix that problem with some quick drying right stuff.
Do you want to bring it down a little bit?
No.
It's okay. Wouldn't that make it nice?
Do you
No,
want
it's
the, do you want the, do you want the
No!
stool? I'll give you the stool so you can use the
Rude.
lift and the stool.
Rude! I know, but your dog wants me. Perfect height for me.
Cool.
Just these.
So the gasket, is the gasket on or is
It
it
ripped.
still on the, okay, so the gasket ripped.
Yep. Step stool.
Stupid step stools. Make sure you get a little bit on the other side of that left bolt hole.
Okay.
And then all the way to the top.
All
This
right.
is the way it goes on, right?
You got it. Did it feel like it like gooed into the right stuff all around?
Press down on that first, and you press down on this black release lever, and then you're always watching the other side to make sure they're both coming down, because if one side catches and the other side releases, then it would do this, and that's really, really bad.
So cool.
Yep. Cool. I got you right here if you want.
I got it. Two.
Double. Air filter housing.
That's awesome.
Oh, it looks so good. Oh, it starts so smooth. All right, so you saw how it had the oil light that was on when you first started? That's totally normal. It'll build oil. If it stayed on, you'd want to cut it off real fast. Kill it. That's fine. She just needs to build oil pressure, and then go ahead and pop the hood, and we'll check your oil level.
Yeah, all the way to the bottom.
Looks full.
That looks, I guess it's so clear.
It's the full mark, which is what you want. So, well, there.
Cool.
Great work. That is.
Thank you.
Of course.
With everything done and completed, it was time for the very best part, to drive him home. getting Carl up on the lift for the very first time. A little scary though, but it was awesome to be able to be under the car to drain all the oil and not have to be like sitting next to it and it splash in your face. Not from experience. So what I'm taking out of the garage is that a new perspective can make all the difference. Thank you so much to Ross for letting us take over your garage for a few hours. It was so nice to finally do the oil on the lift and not have to crouch under the car. As always, thank you to my executive producer, Drew Carter. And if you would like to support me, there are lots of ways you can. Liking the video, subscribing, and I also have a website at elliesgarage.com where you can find links to my Patreon and my merch. And I'll see you next time in the garage.
Oh my gosh. This is gonna be like a half-hour video over here.